Okay, so the first thing to do to help the line to sink, what you want to do is before you put it on the spool, you want to get yourself a little tray like this or a bowl, fill it with some water, cold water, and then get yourself some washing up liquid. Any washing up liquid will do. Just add some washing up liquid to the bowl. Okay, and then take your spool. So before you put it on the reel, just take the spool and you want to rest that inside the water with the detergent, and I usually leave that overnight, and that will help the new line to sink on the reel so that you're not forever trying to sink the line, so it should help with that. I'm just going to give it a little mix around, get the detergent mixed into the water. The line has been in here for 24 hours, so it should have soaked in nicely, and it should now be ready to put on the spool. So as I say, I know that this method does help to sink the line, although I don't know exactly why, so if you know the science behind it, please let me know in the comments below. So now I'm just going to take that out of here and dry it off with a towel. Okay, so for the next stage you're going to need something to just hold your line on. So in this case I've just made this little jig that I use for all the spools of line that I put onto my reel. It is just a block of wood. So if you're interested in making one of these, it's just a block of wood with a bolt through the middle, and then there's a washer here and a nut, and at the end I've just got a wing nut to hold the line on. I'll just show you how that works now. If you don't have one of these, or you don't want to make one, you could just simply put this through like a pen through here, and it's just something to allow it to spin, which helps. So I'm just going to take off my little wing nut. I'm just going to push this on, just so that it's free spinning. I'm going to put the little nut back, just so that it doesn't fall off, like that. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn it upright as well, so that when I'm reeling the line off, it'll just free spin like that, and I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so now we need to attach the line onto our spool. So I've taken the spool off the reel, and there's many knots you can use for this. I'm just going to tie a uni knot, and I'll show you how that works now. So just going to start the knot. There it is. So the good thing about this knot is that you can now open up the knot however much you need it to be open, and then you can put it over the reel, just getting it roughly in the center. Okay, and then if you pull on the main line, you'll see how the knot will tighten down towards the reel, so you can get it nice and tight, and there it is attached. So for the next stage we're going to get it onto the spool. We've got our little tool over there away from us with the line on, and that is going here to the spool. So now we just reattach it to the reel. So we pull the bail arm back, and we put the reel on, the spool on, make sure it clicks into place, put the bail arm back down, and now what you want to do is attach your reel. This is how I do it. I mean, it just helps. So if you just put it into a seat of the first section of the butt section of a rod, lock it in there. You don't need to put the line through the eye or anything. So it's in the rod, and what I do is I just pinch the line as I reel with so I'm right-handed, with my right hand I'll just pinch the line just to give it a little bit of tension, and then with the left I'll start to wind. and you'll hear the line starting to come off the reel. Just keeping that little bit of tension, not too much. It just helps to seat the line on. So it's also worth checking on your spool. It will give you indications. There'll be a guide of how much the capacity of the spool, depending on how deep it is, and depending on what line you use. So in this instance, this reel takes 180 yards of 10-pound line. I'm using 6-pound line, so it will take more than 180 yards. So I've got a spool of 250 yards, which should fill it nicely. So you just keep the turn going nice and consistently. And there you can see the little tool doing its job. Okay, so here it is all done. So I've finished with the spool. I actually put the whole spool on. I've taken the reel off the rod. I'm just going to take the spool off now to show you. Where you want the line to end up, so you want it to end up roughly in line with the lip of the spool. So there's a lip here, so you want it roughly level with that lip. So as you can see, that is roughly level. So if the line goes below this lip and you don't have enough line on, that will hinder casting because it will catch on the lip. So you want it to be as level as possible, and the same for if you put too much line on. So if the line comes out here, then that's going to affect your casting as well, and you're going to get tangles because you're going to get too much line coming off. You're going to get the line kind of springing off the spool because it's overloaded. So overloaded, it's going to spring off. Underloaded, you might struggle casting and it might snag a bit. So you want to look to get it nice and roughly in line like that, and nice and evenly spread. So what I do is, after I've put the line on, I just feel it like this and just make sure that the line's all nicely seated, because then from now until the next session it will sort of bed in into that position. And there you have it. So that is how to spool up your reel and put the line on. And at the end I've just put it in the line clip here. So if you found that this video useful, please leave a like below, and please also consider subscribing for more tutorials such as this one. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.